If the Tower of Babel story has ever pushed you towards atheism, you are not the only one. This video is your key to clarity. First, let's get this straight. The Bible was written in layers, simple enough for anyone to approach, but deep enough to grow with you. If you stay stuck on the literal, you're not maturing spiritually, and that's exactly where the problem begins. So let's walk through the literal version first, and you'll see why reading it this way creates more atheists than believers. Take the opening, for example. Just 3 generations after the floods, the entire world is suddenly buzzing with enough people to form nations, build cities, and launch an international tower project. Wait, didn't we just have 8 survivors after the flood? Unless we imagine they multiplied faster than rabbits on steroids, the math isn't math.
Don't take the Bible literally.
Then comes the part where God comes down to see the tower. If we take this literally, it means the omnipresent creator of the universe is not everywhere at once, but lives in the clouds, and actually needs to fly down from the clouds to check on construction. Do you see the problem? Literalism shrinks God into something limited and almost absurd. The tower story was never about God being scared of tall buildings. It was written to push us beyond the surface and into the deeper meaning.
Don't take the Bible literally.
Genesis 11 shows the people united, peaceful, and working together. Yet in 11:7, God suddenly creates confusion by scrambling their language. But 1 Corinthians 14:33 clearly says, God is not the author of confusion, but of peace. So which is it? If you take the Bible literally, you're left with a God who contradicts himself. And that's where atheists jump in and say,
welcome back to my series, The Bible Doesn't Make Any Sense.
But the truth is, the Bible makes perfect sense. It's literalism that doesn't.
For God's sake, don't take it literally.
And think about this. If God were truly worried about humans reaching heaven with bricks and mortar, why hasn't he stopped us now? We have towers scraping the clouds, planes zipping across the skies, and rockets blasting into orbit. If we read Genesis literally, then God's confusion team must be on vacation. Again, it's not the Bible that's flawed. It's the literal interpretation that makes the story look absurd. Literalism is the kiddie pool. You can splash around in it, but you'll never learn how to swim deep. The symbolic meaning is where the treasure lies, and let's dive straight into it, and you will be the judge. Genesis 11:1. And the whole earth was of one language and of one speech. This shows that the people had one mindset, a unified drive of thought, desire, and ambition. And that's not far from us today. Our one language is technology, media, and consumerism. We're all connected, speaking the same digital tongue. But what are we building with it? Skyscrapers of ego, towers of status, systems that look impressive, yet quietly turning us into its slaves. Think about that. Genesis 11:2 says, as they journeyed from the east, that they found a plain in the land of Shinar, and they dwelt there. On the surface, it looks like a road trip, but symbolically, it's a spiritual descent. Think about it. The story right before Babel ends with Noah's Ark resting on Mount Ararat. Oh, by the way, make sure to check out the Noah's video after this. Okay, so Ararat literally means sacred place. From there, humanity descends into a plain, the lowest ground. Symbolically, this is the shift from spiritual height to spiritual decline. The mountaintop represents clear vision, elevation, and alignment with the sacred. The plain represents a loss of perspective, humanity leaving its sacred height and settling into flatness, into ego. And notice, the Bible always associates the East with divine beginnings. In Genesis 2:8, the Garden of Eden is planted in the East, humanity's first place of oneness with God. In Matthew 2:2, a radiant star rises in the East, guiding the wise men to the Messiah. The East is where revelation breaks into the world. In Ezekiel 43:2, the glory of the Lord comes from the East, filling the temple with light. And in Genesis 11:2, humanity leaves the East. That's not just geography, that's a spiritual statement. To leave the East means to walk away from the inner light, the foundation of spirit, the dawn of truth within us. It means moving from divine unity into the flat plane of self-made ego. Verse 3 describes them making bricks and mortar. Notice what they use. Bricks and mortar. In Scripture, sacred spaces like the temple and altar were always built with stone, natural and created by God. But here, humanity rejects what is natural and eternal and instead forges bricks, uniform, artificial, mass-produced. Symbolically, bricks represent the man-made systems we invent when we drift from source. systems of religion, politics, and empty ideologies. Things crafted in the fires of ego, designed to stack people into uniform shapes, identical blocks in a tower that serves pride, not spirit. Mortar, the substance that holds the bricks together, becomes the glue of fear, control, and conformity. Together, bricks and mortar form the architecture of false identity, the structures that separate us from the divine and dominate the human mind. This is about us, about every time humanity trades the living stone for dead bricks. Verse 4 says, "They built a tower to reach heaven and make a name for themselves." The tower is the human ego's attempt to climb into the realm of God through its own design. It's not about literal height. It's the illusion that we can reach transcendence through our own ladder of ambition. It represents every system, ideology, or achievement humanity stacks to cover its spiritual deficit. They don't want to sacrifice themselves inside and let God come to them. They want to make the terms on which this happens. That's why they say, to make a name for ourselves. That's identity rooted in pride, not spirit. Instead of surrendering to the name above all names, humanity wants to create its own brand of divinity, a man-made God who conveniently approves of whatever the ego desires. Religion, politics, wealth systems, technology, celebrity fame, military power, etc., are all towers of thought that pretend to reach heaven, but only mirror human illusion. The Lord coming down to see the tower and confusing their language isn't describing a sky god flying down to play linguistic roulette. It represents divine consciousness shining light on human illusion. The confusion isn't about dialects. It's the inner emptiness, the restless void we feel when we climb towers built on pride. Look around today. Humanity has built its modern towers, dazzling scientific progress, digital empires, luxury lifestyles, and entertainment on demand. Yet in the middle of all this abundance, anxiety, stress, loneliness, and depression are higher than ever. The more we climb the tower of materialism, the more empty and confused we feel at the top. The Bible calls that confusion. Psychology calls it depression. We've seen it with people society considers to have made it. Celebrities like Robin Williams, Chester Bennington, Kurt Cobain, Anthony Bourdain, Avicii, all beloved, all successful, yet overwhelmed by an inner confusion that towers of fame couldn't silence. Look at stars like Jim Carrey, who once said, "I wish everyone could get rich and famous and have everything they ever dreamed of, so they will know that it's not the answer." That's Babel in real time. The higher the tower rises, the more fractured and confused the human spirit becomes. But the moment we put God first, the confusion clears. Purpose replaces emptiness. Peace replaces striving. Fulfillment replaces the endless climb. Many of you already know this. You've seen it in people close to you. A friend, a family member, maybe even yourself. People who chased after success, relationships, or money, only to realize it still left them empty. The truth is, we don't even need celebrities to prove this point, because we've all seen it firsthand in ordinary lives around us. But to drive it home, let's look at some voices from the top of the world stage. Denzel Washington has said openly that no trophy compares to walking with God. Justin Bieber admitted that even at the peak of fame, he felt empty until he surrendered to Christ. Tim Tebow has never shied away from emphasizing about God before football, and of course Jim Carrey and many others. The Tower of Babel isn't ancient history. It's happening right now. Every time we chase status, wealth, or power without God, we're laying bricks for our own little tower. And every time the emptiness hits, that's the confusion the Bible is talking about. The story is about us. So if you're still waiting for God to go after the Burj Khalifa, good luck. The Tower of Babel isn't about bricks. Take it literally. And it sounds like God is allergic to tall buildings. Take it symbolically, and it reveals a hidden, profound meaning in our lives. If you've made it this far, type "not literally" in the comments. And don't forget to subscribe and like to see more videos like this. Let's keep uncovering the hidden truths together. Remember, a wise man once said,
Don't take the Bible literally.